Today we are going to discuss about introduction part of the so Power BI is data analysis and visualization tool. So data analysis part means it is completely related to data warehouse, right? Data warehouse concept basically. In the same way, from where data warehouse concept is coming from, databases only. If there is no database, there is no data warehouse concept. Okay. So better to discuss about what is database, what is data warehouse, and what is Power BI. So today's agenda is what is database, in the same way what is data warehouse, and what's this Power BI concept, in the same way relation between data warehouse and Power BI. This is the agenda, right? So in the same way, the highlighted point of this training is project. At the ending of the Power BI, I mean, after finishing Power BI related topics training, I'm going to give you some project for practice purpose. So you are going to work with that project. So coming to next scenario, let's start with what is database concept. So basically, databases are used to store different types of data. Generally, you go to maximum projects in real-time environment. Maximum projects contains different layers like this. Okay. So application layer and database layer. This is application layer and this is database layer. So coming to next scenario. Every application contains some users, customers. They are going to interact with application. Through application, they're going to store data in the form of databases. Let's take some example here, some real-time example. Suppose you take banking sector. In banking sector, we have different types of applications. We call them as app So we install them in our laptops, right? So through application, we are going to perform operations in banking sector. For example, you want to open bank account online. What to do? Some new account opening form will be there in the application, right? You are going to fill the form. Okay. What is the form available here? Account open form. You are going to fill with your data. Then you are going to click on OK button. This is what you are doing generally. So now what happens here? Data is going to store in bank database only. The application you are using to interact with the bank, that cannot store data because that is just user interface only. Okay, na? That is just user interface only. But what happens, you know, here when you are filling form and clicking on OK button, that data is going to store in bank database. So now what happens? Your account in bank, your account open. That's what happened now, right, Andy? So after opening bank account, you are going to perform different types of transactions. Like suppose deposits, withdrawals, online transfers. Different types of transactions you are going to perform. See, what happened in the beginning, you opened bank accounts. That means you inserted your data into bank database. After that, after opening your bank account, you're going to perform different types of transactions. So transactions means operations you perform in the bank account. See, even these transactions are going to make changes to your data in the database. Am I right or not? Suppose you deposited some amount, you withdraw some amount. That means data is going to modify, right? And you got my point, right? See, that means databases are used to store different types of data. In the same way, that data can be modified by the users. So these databases are comes under OLTP databases and volatile databases. OLTP means online transaction process. Volatile means modifications accepted. Okay, now what is the meaning of volatile? You can modify data because these are RDBMS databases. So RDBMS databases basically allows user modifications. So whatever the databases we are using to store data, those databases are transaction purpose and those databases accept user modifications. Right? And those databases accepts user modifications. So remember this point carefully. Here some people ask me when I'm giving demos, some people ask me, sir, why you are going for databases? Because database means it is costliest. License purpose, maintenance purpose, development purpose, right? So it becomes costliest environment. So you can go for file system. We have different types of files in the market. right? You can go for file system. You can store data in the form of file system. Why you are going for databases? This type of questions will be there. See, when you are working with the databases, some important scenarios there. They are security of the database in the same way, performance of the data. Security, it's okay, fine. But what is the meaning of performance? What is this performance concept? Performance means speed. Accessing speed of the database comes under performance. Suppose you are using some database, there are some customers working with your database. If you are not providing accessing speed to your database, who is going to work with you? Nobody is going to work with you, right? Am I right or not? This is really important for us. But see, if you are working with RDBMS databases, then they can provide security in the same way they can provide performance also. But if you are going for file system, they cannot. That is the reason why maximum scenarios we are going to store data in the form of databases. Okay. I think now you got some idea about database. What is database? What is going to store in database? What is going to happen in databases? So we got some idea. Okay. So let's go to data warehouse now. Generally, what happens, we are going to store data in the form of databases like this. For example, this is our data source. This is OLTP database, and this is volatile database. So every time data is going to modify means this database contains current data. So current data is not useful for data analysis. I'll tell you what is the reason. For example, directly you are taking data from your data source and you are going to perform analysis. Then you are going to create report, right? And see, when you are going to perform analysis, create report, data is got modified. Data got modified. So what happens now? So your report contains different data and the database contains different data. Right? And your report contains different data and database contains different data. So then no use, right? That is going to create troubles also, right? So to avoid these problems, we're going to maintain separate environment called as data warehouse database. This is comes under OLAP environment, online analytical process. And this is non-volatile environment. See, in the beginning, we are going to copy data from different data sources to data warehouse. But after that, you cannot modify data in data warehouse database. Because what is the basic property of the data warehouse database? Non-volatile means no modifications. Right, Andy? So no modifications means this database contains only historical data. What type of data? Only historical data. So that is required for data analysis and report creation purpose. because of that reason only, we are going to work with separate environment called as data warehouse. In the same way, okay, fine, you have different data sources and you have data warehouse database. How you are going to copy data from data source to data warehouse database? Yes, you are going to copy data, right? So ETL operations. See, we are going to extract the data here. Then we are going to transform data and load data into data warehouse environment. ETL, extraction, transformation, load, ETL operations. So here extraction, load, okay, but what is this transformation? Because when I'm talking about transformations, you feel like data is going to modify. But what I said, data you cannot modify in data warehouse environment. That's what I discussed. Quite opposite statements, right? So I'll give you a simple example. Suppose we have some table here, product table. So which maintains product related data. And here we have some sales amount column in this product table. Same product table copied from, I mean, you're going to copy from data source to Power BI environment. Sales amount column also, right? But there is some requirement. The requirement is, suppose sales amount is greater than 3,000, then only copy it. Otherwise, don't copy it. What is the requirement? Sales amount is greater than 3,000. So this is the requirement. If this requirement is satisfied, then only copy data. Otherwise, don't copy data. So how you are going to do this task? By using transformation. How you are going to do this task? By using transformation. See, I'm writing some conditions so that I'm going to copy only condition satisfied data from source to data warehouse environment. But I'm not doing any modifications here. Am I right or not? This condition is not going to modify data. This condition is going to copy only condition satisfied data. Right? And that is the point. So transformation means it's not modification. It is just bring data into required format, because you are going to work with some analysis environment, data analysis and report creation environment. So you need data into required format. Whatever the data coming from this source, that's okay, fine. But you have to bring it into required format. So for that, we are using transformations. Not only transformation, some other scenarios also there. But now I'm discussing about transformation. Okay. So coming to next scenario, now we got some idea. What is data warehouse? Why we are maintaining data warehouse environment? What is the difference between data source and data warehouse? Some idea we got it now. So next scenario is what is the relation between data warehouse and Power BI? I said like Power BI comes under data warehouse only, right? So what is the relation? So let's discuss about that point. See, for example, here we have some data source. Suppose this is our Power BI environment. In the beginning, we are going to copy data from different data sources to Power BI. In the same way, then we are going to work with the transformation. So DAX, in the same way, we are going to create visualizations. This is what we are doing here. Copy data, okay. transformation also okay. Just now only we discussed about the transformation. Because why I'm talking about this point, you know, when I'm discussing about transformations and DAX, you feel like data is going to modify. That is not correct. Data is not going to modify. So even DAX, data analysis expressions. DAX part is comes under what? Data analysis expressions. This part is used to perform calculations in data warehouse environment. I mean Power BI. Why we are going to perform calculations? Tell me. See, for example, suppose we extracted some table, product table from source to Power BI. And this product table contains sales amount column. Monthly sales amount is available. Now you are going to create some report, and but that report requires annual sales amount. Okay, na? What is required for the report? Annual sales amount. But what is existing here? Only monthly sales amount is existing. Now what to do? Right, and so this is actual requirement. I mean, this is actual data existing, and this is the requirement we have. What to do? Data copied from data source to Power BI. Here we are going to do some calculation like this. I mean, annual sales amount purpose, we are going to do some calculation like this. Monthly sales amount into 12 is equal to annual sales amount. That means what you are doing here, you are doing some calculation. You are doing some calculation. How you are doing calculation? By using DAX. Okay, you are doing calculation means you are going to modify data. No, no modification. No modification, because there is some data existing. By using same data, we are doing some calculation. That's all. We are not modifying data, right? So even DAX functions also, used to bring the data into required format. That's all. But it's not going to modify data. Okay. So they are non-volatile or not? Non-volatile only. What is the base property of the data warehouse? Non-volatile property. Base property of the data warehouse is non-volatile property. That's what the same property we have. Same property we have for this one also. Power BI also. So Power BI is data warehouse environment only, no doubt. Actually, in Power BI, we have some building blocks. They are Power Query part, Power Pivot part, Power View part. Power Query, Power Pivot, Power View. Power Query means transformations part. Okay. Power Query is used to perform calculations. In the same way, Power Pivot, very important area. Pivot means modeling part. For example, you copied data from different data sources to Power BI. You performed transformations, you applied DAX functions. There you are going to finalize the data, right? And you are going to finalize the data. So that area comes under Power Pivot area. Even DAX is also comes under Power Pivot only. Here only we are going to work with relationships between tables. How to create relationships between data. See here, Power Query part, Power Pivot part purely related to databases. I mean data related operations. See, actually, in Power BI environment, we can perform different types of operations. They are data related operations and report related operations. You just divide like this, then only you can easily understand and you can efficiently work with the project. Because if you don't have clarity, how can you work in real-time environment? Can you do that? No, nobody can. Right, Annie? So Power Query area, Power Pivot area, purely related to your data only. Power View concept is purely comes under report creation. Right? So if you want to work with the data related operations, there are some prerequisites. What are those prerequisites? SQL queries related scenarios. SQL queries related operations. So that means they are prerequisites. In the same Power Pivot area, data modeling area is related to data warehouse. So this area requires data warehouse concepts knowledge, because we have different concepts in data warehouse. See, data warehouse means basically theory part only. Some concepts will be there. You have to understand those concepts. Then only you can work with pivot area, modeling concept. For example, how data is going to store in Power BI fact dimension tables. So what is fact table? What is dimension table? Got my point, right? What is fact table and what is dimension table? So if you know data warehouse concept, then only you can understand the terminology. Because your Power BI is purely data warehouse environment. If you don't know data warehouse related scenarios, then you are going to face issues, no doubt. So there are some prerequisites for this. That is SQL queries part and data warehouse concepts part. So those things I'm going to cover in this training only. Some people ask me, sir, you want me to join for SQL queries, some other training? No need. Why? I'm only going to explain, right? Waste of time, money, waste of money, right? And okay, we are going to do everything in this training only. Coming to next scenario. What are the different tools we are going to learn in this training? Again, what is this question? Different question. Tools. Power BI is tool. Again, what are the different tools means what? Right? Basically, Power BI desktop is the tool we are going to start. Development purpose. Completely Power BI development we are going to perform by using Power BI desktop only. After finishing development, we are going to publish our project to service environment. Power BI service. So basically Power BI desktop is on premises, on-prem. That means you can install it in your laptop only. But service is cloud, Azure cloud related. We are going to create some account in cloud to interact with Power BI service, and we can perform those operations here in service. See, like desktop service is also really important for us because we can share our work to customers from service on. In the same way, dashboard concept is also there in Power BI. What is that? Dashboard. So dashboards you should do. Maintain different visualizations in the same page. Suppose you have different country sales amount, for example, for your product table. You created different visualizations, different reports for every country, and you are going to send them to customer. So every country they have to check separately. So it is time taking and confusion, right? And so to avoid these issues, what we are doing, we are going to create it as dashboard, right? So we are going to collect all these visualizations and we are going to keep them in the same page. That is called a dashboard. So now it is easy to understand the things existing in the dashboard for your customer. Even time also can be saved, right? So where we are going to create these dashboards means that we are going to do in Power BI service environment, right? And so service is also very important part of this training. Then we are going to work with the Power BI report builder. This is for creating paginated reports. So paginated report creation purpose. And paginated means what? Paginated means instant reports. Instant means ad hoc. Ad hoc report creation purpose we are using. In the same way, we have Power BI mobile app also. Mobile app is like end user tool. From your mobile, you can access published reports, dashboards from your service environment. Even that also we are going to discuss practically. We can install it on top of Android mobile, iOS. So mine is Android. I'm going to install it in my laptop. I'm at my mobile, and I'm going to show you that practically, right? So coming to next scenario here, DAX area is really important. Data analysis expressions. Some people feel like DAX is complicated. Don't worry, because we are going to discuss SQL queries. So it becomes easy for you, DAX part. We have some advanced DAX in this. Even that advanced DAX also we are going to discuss in this training part. Right? And advanced DAX functions. Only thing required from you is some hard work, practice purpose. Next step, I said something like project process. In this training, you are going to learn topics. Topics means what you are going to learn subject. Right? And we're going to learn subject. Right? but that is not enough to work in real-time environment. But you need some process here. Process in the sense real-time process. For example, in real time, you are going to get some requirement. So what topic is suitable for that requirement? What kind of subject is, what type of subject is suitable for that requirement? That you have to find out. Then only you can work in real environment. Just process only. You are perfect in subject, but you don't know anything about real-time process. Then you cannot work. You are topu in subject, but you don't know anything real-time. Go back to home. Go, what we call back to pavilion, something like that only. Right? Because some people feel like, topu, I didn't feel other subject. But no use. The process is important. Real-time process is important. Select star from EMP. EMP table will not be there in real time. If you go to Amirpet, every institute, we will teach, even me also, myself. I'm not going to blame anybody. Select star from EMP. We start from there and even this training also. But in real time, no EMP table. That is called process, real-time process. That I'm going to explain in this project. See, it's mini project only. There are some requirements, certain requirements there I prepared, and separate database I prepared. So I'll give you that. You have to work with that. I'll monitor. You know one thing, after getting job in real time also, your work you are only going to do. Your manager is not going to do your work. Your manager is just going to coordinate with you and the client. So here, who is going to work with this project? You are only. What I'm doing, I'm going to monitor. If you are facing any difficulties, I'm going to resolve them. So that you'll gain process knowledge. So that is the point. So these are the things we are going to learn in this training. Now tell me if you have any questions related to training. Please. No questions? What happened here? Nobody asking questions. SSIS will not be covered. SSIS 1 or 2 classes, just overview will be given. But SSIS, complete SSIS, it's part of complete SSIS, it's part of MSBI. That is separate training, 1.5 month training. No, I'm not teaching MySQL version. MS SQL, Microsoft SQL.
Hello.
Tell me, please.
Hi, sir. Good morning. So what all will be covered in SQL? Like, would we
SQL
be
queries,
having a...
basically we need SQL queries, but DDL, DML, DRL, TCL commands will be covered. Operators, distinct operator, functions concept, aggregate functions, conversion functions, and classes group by having order by where class, joins, subqueries, views, primary key, foreign key, stored procedures. These concepts will be covered from SQL. Okay, na?
Okay, sir. So basically, we would require only these in Power BI, right?
Only queries part. Whatever the topics I given names now, even those topics also not required. Only queries we are going to use basically.
Thank
Okay,
you,
na?
sir.
Right. Any questions? Anybody, please? Yeah,
So from tomorrow
openings
onwards,
there.
the batch will continue, right?
Openings there. 4 years. Okay, fine. That's better always. But hard work is also required, Sai. Right, Sai Kundan? Go to practice. Okay, no? Somebody asking question, please go ahead. Sridhar Reddy.
So tomorrow onwards, the batch will continue, right? Same time.
Yeah, regular class. Have you attended my previous demo?
Yes, yes. Actually, previous last week, I think I called you like the batches has cancelled something due to some reasons.
Right. Now it's continuing from tomorrow. Tomorrow we have class. Monday to Friday. Saturday, Sunday, no class.
Sure,
Okay,
same
no?
time, 8 to 9, right?
No changes Sunday. Same time.
Sure. Okay.
Okay, right, all of you then. See you tomorrow.